Good evening and thanks for joining us. Enrollment continues to go down at Vigo County schools, but the school corporation says it had plans to combat the issue.
Tonight, Interim Superintendent Tom Balatevich presented an update on the student population. It featured statistics from the McKibben demographic study. New for you tonight on Night Watch, News 10's Kit Hanley is live in our newsroom. She has a breakdown on the figures and how the corporation is responding.
Yes, Patrice Rondrell, Dr. Tom Balatevich says the student population has been declining for several years, and he says the biggest loss has been seen in the high schools. Tonight, Interim Superintendent Dr. Tom Balatevich presented figures from the 2020 McKibben demographic study. The presentation included enrollment projections and a transfer report. The study indicates that student enrollment will continue to drop as the county's population continues to decline. One of the biggest takeaways was the number of transfers listed. The report states that there were 373 transfers this school year. A majority of those were district and out-of-state transfers. Now, for each student out, the corporation loses around $7,000. In total, that's nearly $2.6 million in lost revenue. Dr. Balatevich wants people to know this is happening in other Indiana counties. He says they're working on a plan to combat this issue here.
I think the biggest takeaway is to be vigilant about our numbers and to really understand them and be able to forecast and budget for those numbers. Also to let the community know what we're working through with these numbers, and it may have a financial impact on what we do in our school corporation.
Dr. Balatevich presented some recommendations for the board to consider tonight. These include expanding the number of seats at the alternative school and ease the admission process, standardize the data coding process for the high schools, and create a survey for students that leave to find out why. Reporting live in the newsroom, Kit Hanley, News 10.
Also at tonight's board meeting, we received an update on a story we've been following. We told you the Vigo County School Corporation hired an outside agency. It was to investigate an interaction between school board member J.D. Skelton and district parent Crystal Lowe. The interaction stemmed from recent allegations of racial harassment at West Vigo High School. Skelton visited Lowe at her workplace to talk about social media posts that were going around. The corporation released a statement that said both parties described the conversation as cordial. It goes on to say, quote, "The investigation did not find evidence that Mr. Skelton intended to impact the inquiry into race-based harassment at West Vigo or that he threatened the district parent. According to both parties, they parted on civil terms," end quote. Now, we reached out to Crystal Lowe for her comment on the findings. She challenges the credibility of the investigation and disagrees with the findings.